Hi, Jessica. Thank you for coming in. My name is Tamara, and I'm with the Durham College Student Services. So I'll be your counselor today. Um, Jessica, do you prefer, do you go by Jessica, Jess? How do you prefer to be called?
Jess is great.
Jess? Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Thank you for asking.
I just have my little notepad and I'll just be taking some notes.
No worries.
I appreciate you also coming prepared with your mask, unfortunately, with COVID. So thank you for that. But I do want to let you know if at any time you feel like you're getting stuffy or you're having a little bit of a hard time breathing, there's a restroom just down the hall. So you can just let me know and then you can take a break and we can resume, and that's that. Does that sound like a good idea to you?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so to begin with, I'm just going to go over, this is your first time reaching out for any counseling, right?
Correct.
So this is all new to you. Okay.
Correct.
So something that I want to go over with you is our confidentiality and informed consent policies with the school. So these have to do a lot with your own safety and protection around things, and just so that you know where we're at. So to start off, I do want to say that anything you say within this room or to me stays here. I will not be speaking this to anybody else. People are not allowed to ask if you have come here, if I've seen you, if I know you. However, there are a couple, and I have the sheet here. So there are a few rules or a few exceptions to this rule. And again, it is mainly for safety purposes and other things. So these exceptions are if there is any suspicion or disclosure of child abuse, then I will be required to report that to Children's Aid Society. Secondly, if there is any report of harm or serious harm to yourself or another person. Now, of course, if there's anything to come up, suicidal thoughts or anything around suicide, that is absolutely within in the realm of what we can discuss. It's just if something more serious was suspected. Next one is I could be ordered by court. I may receive a subpoena to release files for something, and then they would need to be released. And also the last one is that if there's a report that you have been abused by a healthcare professional. So these are just some of the exceptions. Of course, we will still always remain in conversation, in communication with that as well. Okay. And so also I'd just like to say that I'm recording this right now just for my own practice purposes. So we have it as it's documented and I can look back to it just for, my own knowledge and growth. Do you consent to that? Do you feel comfortable?
Yes,
So also at any time, if you don't feel comfortable, if you say, I'd like to shut this off, I don't want to do this, please say it. It is absolutely acceptable. So are you under, what is the word I'm looking for? Are you clear with the confidentiality?
Absolutely.
Do you consent to our speaking today?
Absolutely.
Okay, that is perfect. So I can just get you to sign that. Also, just so you know, informed consent is ongoing. It is ongoing with any and all treatment. So this can be changed and adapted at any time. Okay. There is no set, nothing's in concrete. Okay. Everything is flexible and open for discussion. So we'll just remain in conversation about it. Anything changes, you let me know. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
So welcome then. And what is bringing you? What brought you here today?
So I'm in my last year.
And what program are you studying?
I'm in the social service worker program.
Mm-hmm.
I am. I'm doing. I thought I was doing well, but I guess I've been not handing in my assignments this semester as I usually do. Some of my profs have talked to me about it. Actually, it was one of my profs that suggested to maybe come and speak to somebody in here because I just been feeling overwhelmed with COVID and with just trying to do everything online, and I suffer from procrastination to begin with. So
Me too.
I just have a really difficult time, and some of the things around home are a little stressful right now with because of COVID, and I don't know. I think I'm doing okay, but then I don't think that my grades are reflecting that. And I just become overwhelmed and like I just feel myself sometimes withdrawing and I'm at my wit's end and I just don't know where to go from here because I don't want to not be able to keep my honor roll status.
Right. Yes, of course.
So I'm just at my end and it's just becoming so overwhelming for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So how long is the program?
So I
2
graduated,
years,
yeah, it was
correct?
2 years, yeah, and the first year was difficult because I hadn't been in school, but I pushed and pushed, but this last semester here, like I said, I'm graduating in April and I'm not doing the best and not compared to my other years,
Okay.
like my other semesters, I should say. So I just find myself overwhelmed and just not doing my stuff, not doing my, and I just don't know how to get
Right. Yes. Okay. So what I'm hearing from you is that you are stepping into your last year of school. Maybe it's even last semester. You are not doing as well as you have been in your previous years, continuing with your honor roll, or that's something you want to be continuing with. COVID's tough and online work, and already you know that you're procrastinating, and so you're not really handing an assignment. So you're just not, you're not showing up to school, not showing up in the way that you used to.
Yep.
And things are just feeling tough with that, and you feel like you're withdrawing. Does this sound what you're describing? So just in a bubble, sort of in this bubble.
That's exactly what I'm feeling. And like I seem to blame COVID, but I don't really know if it is COVID or if it's just that maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just I'm done with school and it's just, I don't know, I'm just having a hard time, getting things done and like the process and like the things at home. And I'm just.
Okay, so you have mentioned home a couple times. Could you elaborate on what home is looking like to you now? And then perhaps we can go back to maybe what it was before, but what is home looking like to you now?
Well, I have somebody that is, like, I guess, immune depression, like I have to be careful of them. Like I can't have them getting sick. They're
Because they have a
senior.
compromised immune
Yes,
system.
that's the word I'm looking
Yeah.
for. Thank you.
Yeah,
Compromised. Compromised immune system. So I'm very nervous, and I think like that just overtakes my mind sometimes, and then I'll just say, oh, I can do my assignment or my discussion post later, and then I'm always worried at home that, I'm going to bring something in or I'm going to, they're going to get sick on me. So,
do they make you feel guilty when you go out then? Because, you are in your schoolwork and you're out, you're here now, and, you're going to be working with the public. So
I think maybe a little bit, maybe hopefully in the future, because they're coming up to get their vaccine. So hopefully once they get their vaccine, maybe that might come off my head a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe in my own mind, I'm thinking like, I'm worried about them, which is because last year I had no problem at school, like this whole COVID, and it's just really difficult. And it's putting so much of the pressure, and like there was no issues at home before, and there was, like I was doing so well, and it just seems like everything is on me right now. And I don't know what to delegate to be priority at this moment either in my life.
Right. Okay. So what I'm hearing you say is, with everything that's happening, with how you're feeling with your roommate and wanting to be very cautious and of course be mindful of how they are.
Absolutely.
Things are just seeming like there's perhaps, like there's no structure. Perhaps maybe, does that sound like what I'm hearing? It's like, it seems like you don't quite know where things are going anymore, and it sort of seems out of this routine because school went from being in class to being online, and things weren't an issue. Does that sound, yeah, sort of it, or?
I like structure, and you know, I feel like I'm just like blowing everywhere. Like I don't know where I need to be at a specific moment. Like I need to be helping around home. I need to be doing my schoolwork. I need to be doing placement. I just needed so many places, and I'm just getting overwhelmed with everything. And I hate to be the one that says, oh, it's COVID, but I know that it has so much to do with,
And I feel that, that is absolutely a perfect answer. And I also feel like sometimes we can beat ourselves up by saying, oh, I'm just blaming this, or perhaps blaming this, but it's not even, sure, there are excuses out there, but sometimes we do need excuses. And it can be, okay, well, so say it really is COVID. Okay, yeah, COVID has been tough, and that's what that is. So then what our role then can be is learning how to navigate this new journey through what this world is looking like right now.
Because I'm concerned. I'm like, when I graduate in April, I don't want this affecting me in my job.
Of course, right.
Like I don't want that. And I just need to get it together now. And exactly, maybe trying to figure out some structure or some prioritizing, I thought, but getting me to do that sometimes.
Well, do you feel as if there's some resistance to navigate in this new, kind of pandemic world? Or is it just sort of like lots of things lifting?
It does. It is. There's lots of resistance. There's even resistance. I feel for me sometimes. Like I feel like I just want this to be over. So I'm trying to not to do everything maybe because I just want it to be over. And maybe because I'm so close, I just want it to be over. I just want to graduate and be over, but I don't want to lose those honors. And I don't, I'm just stuck.
Can you think of a time say your first year of schooling, what did you feel stuck? You didn't feel stuck then, right?
No.
So can you describe what that looks like? What does that reality look like to you to not be stuck? And what were some of the tools, or what were some of the things you were using that was allowing you to keep your structure and routine there? So what does that look like?
Like my first year, of course, going back to school, I was excited. I was like hyper, and I was ready to take on the world. And then like my first semester was great. And then come the March, the ending of my first year, second semester, that's when COVID came in and everything was new to everybody. So we were learning, but like now, like everybody's doing everything. And I just feel like I'm always left back to sometimes. Like I just, maybe the whole online platforms at school, or maybe sometimes I even question myself, well, maybe I'm not doing well because I have no accountability. Like there's no professor that's, at the class every day or every other day talking to me. And like, I just feel like I'm just proofing everything off where I wasn't my first year.
Right. Okay. So that's a great word, accountability. Right. When you're classmates and there's a professor who's standing there and they can look at you and they can see you, and then when that's taken away, it's no one's going to know if I'm not studying right now. No one's going to know.
Yeah. Or you just go online and the teacher sees you're there and you can be doing whatever, or or just say, oh, sorry, I had internet problems. Like I can find so many excuses this semester. Like, sorry, I had no Wi-Fi. But that's bad, and that's not the proper thing to keep me going. Like I do understand and I do see the things, but it's just difficult for me to get a grasp on it all. Like I almost know what I'm doing wrong, but it's just, I just can't get a grasp on it or see it. Like there is a future. April 13th, I'm done school, so there is. But I just, like I said earlier, I'm worried that these whole bad behaviors or these different things are just going to keep going for me, and I don't want that.
Okay, so all right. So if we take that, and I mean,
like if you understand, it's hard with COVID. Like
that's the thing. Of course, you know what it is, and you know, I would like to tell you also that you are not alone, and in that feeling, you know, everyone has had their different feelings and emotions with this. Like this has been really, really tough and really challenging. And so I also really commend you for staying in school and sticking with it, and also for being honorable. Like that's like how fabulous, right?
Yeah,
that is absolutely fantastic. And so, what I feel like perhaps what would be most useful of our time then is finding some things that you feel really positive and really great about, and then creating a success and like or success steps for you, so that when you are graduated, you know that if you do have that feeling of, oh, I don't know if it's good enough, I don't want to fall into these bad habits, to create some sort of routine for you that, you know, perhaps it's a list, or perhaps it's things to tick off within a day to keep you like, okay, I know that I can be mentally sound and feel good about what I'm doing, like once these things are done. And then just to be putting those things into practice, right? Because it's a daily discipline, right? Life is a daily discipline, right?
Absolutely.
So how would you feel about creating something like that, or creating something, you know, or building towards something you're like, okay, I feel strong about this and I can feel confident? Because I feel like that's sort of
like almost like getting myself to write out like a set plan.
Yeah,
for
something that makes
the week and just trying to focus.
Yeah, something that makes you feel good. Because
Okay.
also what I'm sort of seeing is this uncertainty, and uncertainty is going to make us feel, of course, not confident.
You're
right, and you want
correct.
to step outside of your program, being like, hey, honor roll right here.
Yep.
I did fantastic, and I'm ready.
Yeah.
Right, and so then, but if there's these nagging things of, oh, well, I didn't really do that well in school, like or I didn't really pay attention in class, or
I missed that one
mucked this
discussion
up.
post.
If those are just in the back of your head, but also it's let them be there. We generally, of course, have nagging things in the back of our heads, but it's what also positive things we can read too, right? So
that's a great idea.
Yeah, I definitely did not mention this at the beginning. We you came in for a 20-minute session today, and I do have my phone here just to be mindful of time.
No worries.
So I'm just looking.
Yeah.
This is great. Okay, so we have a few minutes left. It seems to have worked in its favor, in its natural essence.
Yeah, absolutely.
But do you like the idea of creating something like that, and do you like the idea of, you know, building that? It could be something, and just something really small.
I never felt like I needed it before, but yeah, maybe like even if it's just for this last few weeks or whatever, it may be better practice and something that I can take along with me, because I know that's not me.
Yes.
This is not me, the
Right.
old me. Yeah, it's just so much on my plate. And like you said, maybe if I write things out and try to manage stuff that way.
Would you consider, or have you ever done this, perhaps, you know, in the morning, just taking a couple minutes? Do you drink tea, coffee? You know, sit with, you know, your beverage of choice, and just maybe have a piece of paper. Maybe start a journal, and perhaps just write out something of, I feel positive about this today. Or maybe it is a concern, but just to voice it and put it out there, and also just sometimes putting things down we'll get them out of our head, get it, get that hamster wheel to maybe just turn a little slower.
For sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and on a note too, next week, the person in my household will be getting their vaccine.
Perfect.
So, and I will be getting
Something
my
else.
vaccine too, so hopefully that's gonna be able to take off of my mind
Yes.
a little bit if, when we both get our vaccines, just for her health,
I love it. I love it.
right?
Okay. So as our session wraps up, so let's say this. How do you feel about picking yourself up a little journal or perhaps having a piece of paper at home?
I like that.
And how would you like to book another session for, say, would you like a week from now?
Give me 2 weeks, maybe.
2
Just to
weeks?
grab the
Okay.
journal
Yeah,
and
yeah.
maybe start doing some stuff, and that way I can be able to, let you know what I've been able to manage in these
Okay.
last couple of weeks.
Perfect. So, that's going to bring us into April.
Oh, April.
Okay.
Okay.
So if that's cool for you. So in 2 weeks' time, that's April 6th.
That would be great.
Okay. Does the same time work for you?
Yes, that would be a great time.
Perfect. Okay, so let's just summarize things. So we spoke of feelings of uncertainty and just withdrawing and not wanting to start bad habits that are going to continue once you're done school, and then not allow you to be set for success. Because of course, you want to step out in the world with confidence and graduate and be super excited about it.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's pick up a journal, and every day, could you take just a couple minutes and write down just perhaps what comes to mind, something that, maybe you're grateful for, maybe something that's a routine, something happy that you want to do. Like when you are set for mental success, you've had your tea, you've had, say you eat something, maybe you don't eat till later, okay, or even your little tasks, just being able to cross those things off too. I'm doing this today. How do I want my day to look? What's it going to look like for me to feel successful at the end of today?
Maybe that's a good idea, one day at a time.
One day, and even one moment, because the reality is every moment to moment to moment, something changes. And also, but I do want you to know and feel as well that having a bad day or having days where you don't feel as if you showed up as best you could, that's perfect too, because we're human.
Thank you.
So, and right, feel free to write that. Feel free to write, I'm not having a good day. And you can leave it at that. You can capitalize it all the time. I'm not having a good day, Tamara. That's fine.
That's awesome.
But then, also maybe noticing some thought patterns and things. And then when you come back, bring it in.
Okay.
And we can go over it and say, maybe we're noticing a pattern or noticing some patterns of where you tend to maybe slip. And then noticing some patterns of, hey, that's good. That's a good one to keep for success.
That's a great idea.
Does that sound like a great
idea? That is a great idea.
Well, Jess, it was so great to meet you. I'm so excited to be working with you.
Yes, thank you very much. And thank you for making me feel so welcome, because I was very nervous.
Of course,
Speak to somebody.
Of course, it can be so nerve-wracking, and especially for a first time, right?
Right. Like I just didn't want to feel like, I know everybody's COVID is just kicked us all. So, and I just didn't want to be the one, but I just felt like, and people had suggested, so that's why I came to see you.
That's perfect. Yeah. So, and it is everyone's going through their own battle and their own journey with COVID, and and so are you, and whatever that looks like. No, it doesn't even matter how big. It doesn't matter if it looks big or small to anybody else. Whatever's happening for you is happening for you, and it's real, and it's valid. So, and that's what this is for as well. Like, this is valid, and I want you to be able to step away with the best confidence and all the success.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome, Jazz. I will see you 2 weeks.
2 weeks from now.
That's
journal in hand.
Same time, same place.
All right. Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
Bye.